Hi, welcome everyone. This is Cristina Maria Rojas Fernandez, Hummingbird Medicine from Spirit Medicine Ways. Thank you so very much. This is the first live video that we have through Spirit Medicine Ways, and it's a little bit interesting for me. For those of you who know me or have interacted with me in some form, it's nice to see you. It's very nice to be here together and to enjoy in this moment. I look forward to comments and questions throughout if you're out there. And as y'all come in, please, saludos, bienvenidos, welcome. Welcome to January 2019 and to this new year. Blessed, blessed new year. Ever grateful to be in this carnate, in this form, in this human form. I am honored that, hey, madrecita, Atani, I love you. I'm saying my hellos, yes. Thank you. I'm very fortunate. I come from a very strong line of humans who are very together with me and walk with me in the most amazing forms and love me very dearly, openly. So my love is usually reciprocated in many ways. So this is interesting for me, right? Like I moved to the right and it's on my left. And I moved to the left and it's on my right. So bear with me as I work this kind of interesting technological experience out. But I want to share a little bit of, those things that we do, right? Spirit Medicine Ways is a collective experience. It is an idea that everything is medicine and everything can be imbued with spirit. And is everything that is spirit's medicine? Well, that's another conversation. Visit me for more live videos on that. But Spirit Medicine Ways is a platform, it's a space, it's a home. It is a familia, a community, and where we receive beautiful understanding of that which we are, the medicine. That are spirits, that we each have one, whether we believe in Jesus Christ, Buddha, other sources of divine. We are that. We are that replica. And so we, in Spirit Medicine Ways, all the beautiful guides and spirits and beings that accompany my incarnate, this being right here, we practice and we share by way of herbalism, plants and herbal medicines, by way of shamanism, curanderismo, earth spirit traditions, so really bringing people back to the earth, remembering that we all come from there, we all return there, and sometimes we run from there. A lot of people are running from it, but we bring it back. Hi, Sharon. Hola. I'll do that every once in a while, so bear with me. I'm trying to get a hang of this. I appreciate your love and your understanding. So, hi, Joe. Yeah, so we do it by those indigenous and traditional medicine ways. Also, we do it by ascension and energy and vibrational medicine ways, which again, if you visit Spirit Medicine Ways Facebook page here, YouTube channel we have, please subscribe, Instagram, and we'll be talking more about these things and really bringing them into the scope, because that's what this time is about, really bringing it in. A time of sovereignty and a time of divine knowing. And I get a little bit emotional or actively expressing feeling. So please, I hope you can appreciate that as much as I can express it. So that is Spirit Medicine. As I said, I invite you to come. We do individual sessions. We have ceremonies. We offer amazing gifts and traditional ways. And we work with a lot of different Amazonian traditional medicines. So please learn more. So with that being said, I have a little book. Look, I even have a stand. It's an easel. It's an old book that I have of writing. So it works great for this. I personally used to have a show called Transforming Gifts. It was a blog talk show a while ago. And so this feels a little different, but similar to that. So I shared about what we offer, and I shared about uploading your comments and questions, and please subscribe and like all that we hear. So January 2019, what's that all about? I want to start with like the premise of this is what happened to me on New Year's Day. I had a beautiful experience New Year's Eve with two of my blessed friends, women, sisters, girlfriends. I like to go the full array. But they're soul sisters, right? They're part of my soul line. And they're different than my blood sisters, which I have 4 blood sisters. Soul sisters, I have many. And those blood sisters, I'm very fortunate, are also soul sisters. So again, that's another conversation. So I had a beautiful ceremony that evening to bring in the new year with blessed medicines, earth medicines. And I was saying goodbye to one of my sisters. She was leaving, it was very early in the morning hours. She was leaving my home, and we're exiting, and my exits with people can tend to be long and winded. And I think it's a shared experience. It's that kind of like, oh, I don't want to leave, but you want to leave? But no, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? Yeah. So we're talking outside on the front porch of my home, which is my home now for many years. It's my childhood home. And we all congregate here, my bloodline. And so we're standing outside, and I look up, and the sky is beautifully purple. Like that purple you see in the back there. Oh, I should introduce my space. This is my community altar. You see, I moved to the right, and you see me on the left. Very bizarre. But yes, this is the mirror. And so this is where we do all the blessings and all the work, me and my beings, for the community. It's much calmer now back there. It's usually a little bit packed. So I'm standing outside, and there's this gorgeous purple pink in the sky. This, which I recognize as a Northern American girl and a Northern girl from the United States, winter girl, on your true Northern girl. I recognize that it's that snow purple, but it has a hue to it, of cosmic hue, this purple that I've been seeing, and these pinks that I've been seeing very grandly lately. And I've been seeing them a lot. I saw them a lot in 2018 in my visions, in my visionary experiences, and the beings that were coming to me were very much wearing these hues. They were giving off these colors. So if we know purple is often aligned with the upper realms, right, of our being. And so I consider that the upper realms as we move into the 8th and 6th and 7th chakra. Even I would say here, and if we know we have like centers aligned all over, like we're seeing that there's centers that just fly up. There's centers down low. So like this idea that we're only 7 centers is evolving quite beautifully by way of ascension. So I recognize this as like spirit and this interaction that spirit is having with us when I see these cosmic colors, and I see that that's the higher vibrations, and the vibrations that are being very much brought into us, gifted to us humans. So I'm standing up there, and I'm telling her, oh my goodness, do you see the sky? And she's like, yeah, what's going on? I'm like, oh my, and I'm here having this ecliptic experience, where I'm like practically crying. She can't really understand me because I'm having this very pronounced experience with the earth and the experience around me, and life and energy. And so we say our goodbyes, and before that I tell her, it's interesting. It feels like it wants to snow, but it's warm. It's at 54 degrees, and I have a response to that naturally. On January 1st, I want it to be 30 or below. Something I've known all my life, so I'm very grateful that I had that experience of what true winters are, and the northeastern part of the United States. So I know that very well. And so here we have this 54-degree weather that feels super odd, and we have this sky that looks like it wants to pour down a clear snow kind of gift for us. And it has this cosmic essence. And so I tell her, wow, it like really wants to snow, but it's not. And it had just rained significantly that day, like poured. And we've been having here a lot of water in large amounts in the wintertime. And for me, that's considered a more tropical winter season. So when I lived in Guatemala, in the winter season, it was raining, and it was like this bone-chilling cold. It's not the same as that dry cold that we have here, which I love because that brings the snow. The other one has a humidity to it. So we've been having a lot of humidity in our air, and it was fascinating to me how this day that was clocking us over, that anybody who is talking about ascension or energy updates or forecast is saying 2019 is the big deal. It's skyrocketing us in, you know? It's true. It's a real statement. And what I'll provide you with today is a much more social, behavioral, probably perspective, right? And earthly. I do a lot of earth work here, so they tell me. And but bring it into the cosmic scope, right, of this ascension idea that we're doing. So I tell her this, and I'm like, wow, I really want to snow, but it's not. Instead, it's going to rain. So when I came into my home, it was the first time that I realized that the earth was telling me, I know what I'm doing, and trust me. I knew we were going to do this, and I knew that I signed up. Oh my, right? Like I'm having this conversation vividly with Gaia, and she's saying, or he, or it, to really put it in a more holistic scope, right? An all scope. It's saying to me, you know, trust me. One of the tenors of 2019, especially January, right, is to trust. Trust by way of yourself, and trust the external experience, because you can only trust your external experience if you are trusting wholly your internal experience. And I think here, I'm a truster. Man, I'm just a truster. I go into all sorts of altered states of consciousness with people in ceremony, alone, a lot. I've been doing it all my life, and now I'm just using earth medicines to facilitate the process for me, and it has expanded my understanding of the world as well as my understanding of myself and humanity in a very important way for this time. And so it's telling me, you know, to trust, and that it's been knowing what it's doing. And so later came into this consciousness and understanding that, wow, all this water that is being spewed in our earth, and I'm just looking down to make sure that I'm staying in line because I can go off. So bear with me as I come in and out, right? This is new for me. This water that is being spewed from the sky is really our water. And again, 1231 to 11, 3, right? Because 2019 is 3 now. So 345, day number 5, is filled with this water. And 2018, if we know, generally had quite a current of cleansing to it, like deep cleansing. Excuse me. And the medicine work in my shamanic practice, or you know, my practice, there was a lot of cleansing, and the cleansing was very much a pouring out of the waters that were within us. And so it makes sense to me that the waters that are coming from the sky are actually a reflection of us, right? And one of the things that Gaia is teaching us into now, 2019, is that 2019 is coming with an ability to see, and see how you see uniquely, and how we all see uniquely, right? So it's giving us this increased experience of connection externally to spirit and energetic and vibrational forces or beings, however we decide to describe that or adhere to it. And so we are knowing that this water that she's pouring forward is our own. So then we connect that with the fires that we had in the United States on the West Coast, you know, that they were pretty pronounced. They took down a lot of land and a lot of people. And there was a burning inside of us. And if you know the wheel, right, and our cardinal points, then we know that the east is often associated with air, the south, which is our highest point of sun in the sky, is often associated with fire, and the west is often associated with water. and we're in the Western time, and now we're in the time of the earth, which is the winter season. And it's usually associated with deep within. So if we're going deep within, then our waters, which is our soul, has to pour over. And a lot of us haven't been able to do that. And so the earth has been gifting us an opportunity to do it. And it's almost like her reflection. So you're gonna have to go into your waters, and I'm gonna help you bring them forth. And if we understand earth spirit traditions, then we understand that we are a reflection of Gaia. And we are a reflection of this being, right? Because regardless of what religion, spiritual tradition we follow, one of the things that we know, which is why I love shamanism, one of the things we know is that we come from the earth. Excuse me. I'm just gonna plug in here because I'm prepared. Bien proud of myself. Very prepared. That's one of the things I'm getting better at, preparation. One of the things that we know is that we come from the earth. So whether you're Buddhist, whether you're Muslim, whether you are Christian, Catholic, however you Jewish, however you would assign yourself to or subscribe to, we know that earth, we come from it. We know because our bodies disintegrate in the ground and they compost like the food that we eat and the agricultural. So that ability to understand that from an earth spirit medicine perspective helps us now. And we have that. 2019, specifically January, has offered us that part. And so I had this experience, right? And I connected it. And then that water, right? I went back on December 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. We had a ceremony where we offered grandmother and kambo. And those are Amazonian medicines that we offer monthly. And in this sacred ritualistic fashion, that was the weekend of the winter solstice and the winter weekend of the Cancer full moon. And it poured. And we know Cancer is associated with the water. Yeah. And so our waters that were often frosted before are now flowing forward. So we spewed out an extensive amount of water that day. The waters aren't always so pretty or very transparent. Many of them are very rooky. But what we did do was create a transparency to come in. And 2019 is gifting us that. So I'm trying to give you a chronological. It'll get better in the future, I promise. But I hope that that's clear, you know. So now we connect it to where we are now, right? Where are we now today? We are in between a new moon in Capricorn that we just had on the 5th, excuse me. I don't know what's up with me on the 9th. I think I know. It's something I was supposed to do and I did it. So on the 5th, we had a Capricorn new moon and a partial solar eclipse. And now on the 21st, which is right after our January ceremony, on the 21st, we had a Leo full moon total lunar eclipse. And if we are paying attention to these moons, which it feels like many of us are doing it more ritualistically, which is the way I love to work with earth medicine, very ritualistically. It reminds us of where we came from, and it reminds us of our connection back to the earth. Again, regardless of your tradition, religiously. So you could do this. And so if we work, a lot of us are working with the cycles of the moon, understanding them and understanding the eclipses, and that's what's happening. This is part of our awakening. So we had this booming awakening in 2018 that now is kind of settling in, right? It's like think about me and my blessed medicine partner. Always talk about getting in the ship. Well, the ship is kind of found like this I don't want to say plateau, right? But it's found a comfortable spot. It's found a very comfortable place that is allowing us to be very grounded. There's a grounded essence to 2019, and there's a grounded essence to January, which is bringing us in, because there's naturally going to be tumultuous experiences. That's real, but we'll talk about that at another time when it comes in. So we have this window, and now we're in January 13th, and the window is going to close on the 21st, because remember, every moon cycle, right? So our new moons or full moons only stay there for about a day and a half. So it's much larger, and there's so many astrologists, like there's many astrologists that do beautiful readings, and I usually post them on Spirit Medicines. So please visit there, become friends. Let's talk, let's hang out. You'll start to see, it'll be very helpful. So in this kind of corridor that we have now, we're going into kind of a quiet time, a kind of reflective time before we go into this boom, right, of total lunar eclipse. Naturally, so during this eclipse window, there's a lot of jittery experiences. There can be a lot of a feeling of confusion, yeah. For those of us who are very sensitive, which we all are, just some of us are in different levels of our density and our mass density. But those of us who have cleared a lot of the density and are experiencing energy much more rapidly. And those of us who have not cleared the density are experiencing energy rapidly, so we can often go to the mind. And then the mind, right, different than the brain, the mind starts to kind of go a little berserk. So this week, I really invite you to settle in to what we're going to talk about, which is this idea of divinity and sovereignty, and more themes that are aligned with that. So how do we move through it with the rituals we'll talk about? So this 2019 January specifically has three tenors that I've really felt and I've seen. So I want to talk a little bit about this concept of feeling. An example is myself, right? I'm an example of what I'm sharing. I remember 2 years ago when I was being, excuse me as I fix myself here, right? It's interesting to see yourself in the mirror as you're talking to the humans. Oh, I'm getting myself together. So about 2 years ago, I woke up. Many times I would wake up and often feel the grand experience of the world. But it was just right when I woke up out of bed. So I didn't know if I was bringing anything in from my lucid dreaming state, or if I was coming or not. I didn't understand what was happening to me. And then I realized that I was having conversations, passive conversations, with the energies that surrounded me, which are usually, for me, very connected to Earth Spirit, right? So they were informing me of our experiences by way of my body. And I have an understanding that this year specifically, we're going to do a lot more body experiencing. So that's not always very comfortable. It's something that we started last year, and I notice, because I work a lot with people who come to me, and I often enter their bodies with permission by way of their soul. And it was very uncomfortable. People get very unsettled, naturally so, because there's a belief that my body is different than yours, which there is a visual, but there is not. We are bone, we are flesh, we are organs, and we are therefore a being, human being. And sometimes we're male, and sometimes we are female. When we can, we will be able to be both one day, and more than that. My goodness, that's exciting. And so that's something that's a theme into this year. So one of the things that we are gratefully coming into now is these three tenors: lightness by way of like less density. I like less density. I struggle in density. It's very real. We all do. And that's what a lot of people are talking about when there's frustration, when there's like, oh, that person is so this, or they're so limited, or they're so kind of just started the path. That's density. And if we put it in a much more objective perspective, then it takes away the personalization that they're doing anything better or less than. And we'll talk about this free of comparison, right? And so this lightness is that. Clarity and space. 3 of my favorite things. I love space. I often get very claustrophobic. So this clarity, I want to talk about that, but let me just make sure. Good. I'm going to turn. This clarity is actually very connected to this idea that we are divine. And January 2019 again brought that in. And this Leo full moon is going to bring it in very direct to us. Interestingly so, Leo, right? If we know it, it's usually in the heart of August. In the heart of August, which is for the, I forget what hemisphere we are. They were the northern hemisphere, which is very much our prolific state, our very outwardly state, right? So the difference is happening on our northern time of the winter, right? And so this Leo total lunar eclipse, which kind of, right, hides the moon so that it can shine, the moon in its full essence behind this other brightness, is like double forwardness. So this clarity of divinity, and divinity is a big word, right? It's, I just want to make sure. Okay, divinity is a very big word, and divinity is an idea that we are all in our power, and the ability to see that, right? If I can understand that this power that I have is not an external force, but an internal force, and it's actually a birthright, and it's actually a innate quality in all human beings, then I will be able to be with anything that surrounds me. And 2019, this year, is that time of divine sovereignty and this idea that we are divinity. And it bids us an opportunity to have greater trust. And that greater trust is within ourselves. And for those of us that maybe are better, that maybe are doing this a little bit more, or have already had a practice of this because of the work that they've done cosmically, this is going to be easier. For those of us that have not, that still struggle with trusting the process, then there's going to be a greater desire to trust, like a real innate desire, like, oh my goodness, I want to do this. It's almost a propelling forward, you know. A lot of the 2019 and January has just been this push, but it's like a soft push, which is very nice. I know the difference between soft and forceful pushes. January, 2018 had a lot of forceful pushing, and it's very nice to know that we're going into a softer layer of pushing forward. It's like very gradual. It's not no needing to get in there, you know, and a more grander scope. So for those of us who are aware of this are going to have a desire to do it, and the others will be more curious about it. And this can happen very unconsciously, as well as very subconsciously. So just be aware of this desire to curiosity, to like, wow, I really feel ready for this, and I feel ready to go out and do this, to express myself in this way. And so that connects and that aligns this sense of divinity with our greater connection to spirit and our greater connection to that which is around us, and that spirit which is within us. And that goes back to the higher, the highlight experience. You know, I'm always a little bit very aware about saying higher and lower because we see it like this, because it's naturally higher in the dictionary means this and lower means that. But it's actually just parts of us, right? It's like when we have our mind, body, soul, and spirit, right? This soul is the conduit, if you want to per se, the bridge from our mind and body, this incarnate, to our spirit. So if we can continue to see that it's not necessarily this way, but it's actually always all happening parallel within us at the same time, then it helps with this idea of freeing ourselves from hierarchies, right? So I want to talk a little bit and bring this all into what's happening now in the U.S. and in many places. We can see that, I'm sorry, I'm seeing this here and it's driving a little out of it. Nice, thank you. So in the U.S., as well as in other places in South America, I mean, in many places in the world, we're seeing systems kind of go a little berserk and a little bit haywire. Especially now in January 2019 with the furlough that we're having here in the United States with our government and even just our representatives. It's really fascinating. I come from a background in social humanity and political social work. So I'm always very interested on how they want to bring me back into that because it was very active in our system. So what I'm understanding now is that for us versus getting caught up in the idea that this is something bad to fight for and to have to change, we're being invited by way of our sovereignty and divinity to see this as an opportunity, right? Because our system's collapsing is like a mountain. I want you to give you this image. Our mountain often erodes, it's part of the process. Things die on it, fall apart. Some mountains have been volcanic. Internally, they come out, they spew forward. So the mountain always maintains itself, right? It's fear. It is a being, a spirit being that has life, as well as is dying, as well as is rebirthing, right? It's a beautiful example of that place of life, death, rebirth, and birth, right? So our systems externally have to die, but we always have a greater system around us that is living, and that is that idea that we are coming in individually, right, uniquely. Cristina Maria, Fulanito, John, Bill, Bob Gregory, all these people, Diane, are all sovereignty coming together. And the strength of our sovereignty, by way of our ability to see our divinity, which is being a gift for us right now, that we've gotten that lightness, that clarity, that space, and all of that has been bringing resolution in, right? It's creating a grander system, a different system. But systems must collapse. It's just a law of nature. A tree must transition to bring forth new life. It's just a law of nature. And so this collapsing that's happening, you can even sense the kind of knowingness that it's been waiting. It's been waiting to happen. It's been asking for it. So that's an example of what's happening in our greater culture, which is what's happening internally, and which is what's happening on a grander, right? So like a good social worker, you'll be very proud of me. Micro, the individual, the human. The meso is our groups, the familias, the small organizations, the meso, the macro, and even the systems could be our meso, because right now I'm thinking of a more cosmic experience. The meso is our systems and how we look at like a governmental, usually it's the family when you look at it from a systems perspective, family systems perspective, but we're looking at it in a cosmic perspective. And the macro is that large being that we live upon. Madre Tierra. That is our macro experience. So it's wonderful to really see these things and align with that way. One of the other tenors of this 2019 is the ability to be free of comparison. So I can only move into divine sovereignty if I am able to be free of comparison. And we're seeing now that, especially in our greater scope, that we're coming more together, more aligned. So traditions are crossing, ideas are actually being really, really more blended and integrated. So this idea to be free of comparison is really, and these are things that are really kind of innate to us. So if I can connect with myself, right, and we'll talk next about practices, so I can make sure that I'm here. Then I can actually connect with that which I have brought in, that which I am here to do, my soul's purpose and knowing and divine ways. So if I can free myself of looking outward, as in I'm not doing it like them, why does it look different for me? We can jump on that kind of 2019, especially this window, right? Where we're receiving a lot of light from Capricorn to Leo. And we're receiving with Capricorn just alone, we've received a lot of grounding. We're about ready to receive this bold light that will come forward. If we can harness these energies and bring them inward and experience them by way of our soul, then we're going to be able to really focus the light inward to outward. And it doesn't have to look a certain way, because my connection, which is greater now, which is opening the doors to spirit, is going to start to inform me. I will start to know what I'm doing here. I will start to know how I am doing it and in which ways. So I invite you to stay with your practices, right? Some of the rituals or the tools that I find really useful are breath work, we call it, but I'm gonna just kind of stick with breath because I'm not a breath work specialist, but I'm very good at breathing. Especially during very tough times. I also recognized from a young age, I was taught by my blessed mother how to breathe, bring me back into my body, because I often stepped out. And so connecting with these daily breathing exercises, however you find them, there's so many. We'll do a small meditation before we get into our upgrade. But if you can connect with this breathing, daily breath exercises and daily breath connecting, it's really something that brings in space. And you're going to start to see more of the space that's going to be brought in. More of the space that's going to be exposed to you and accessible to you. There's going to be a real difference. You're going to start engaging with space differently. It's a simple practice. It's nothing other than connecting with my breath. So if I wake up in the morning, I'm feeling jolted, I connect with, literally before I even get out of bed, I'm laying there. And I know we don't often have the time because of this, because of that, because of this, pero bueno, I'm going to invite you to free yourself of anything other than those important steps to breathe. So laying there, even in bed, with your eyes closed, and just allow yourself to breathe. Feel that calm. Feel that presence that you're allowed. It's like something that has been innate to you as a reminder to tell you that you really are a being of divinity. And so that daily practice is so important and it's so simple. It's nothing that you don't know. I'm just reminding you that we have a lot of support to do it. Another practice that is very, very helpful that I find, that again, I call it this, but it doesn't necessarily need to look like that same word, but prayer. And prayer often starts with, please God, give me this. Or please divine spirit, give me this. Spirit, Great Spirit Creatrix, I need this. Well, if you can start with thank you and into a space of allow me to, right? It changes concept. So however you feel called to, if those two pieces can be involved, there's going to be a grander sense of gratitude, which we know has been an arching theme for us. And it's going to bring in a whole new sense of connection for that day. And the third one is meditation. I am very supportive of quieting the mind. The mind gets in the way, and in my all of experience as a social worker, when I did clinical psychotherapy and supportive psychodynamic therapy, which I'm doing again, I have found that quieting the experience, even if the mind is moving fast, the body starts to quiet. And as I said, one of the things that 2019 is bringing us closer to our body. And we saw that in January now with Capricorn always being our first experience, and that being Earth sign. And it brought us deep into those things that were yet unresolved into our body. So a lot of us were knocked out, tired, ill. It's real. I got it all. But this idea of quieting your body, you'll start to feel the decompression when you quiet. And so again, you're going to start to feel the space. And if you combine that meditation, quieting your brain and your body with breath, you're going to feel an expansion. And maybe in one of our next lives, we'll talk about some of these things a little bit more specifically, but we're really over. And I just want to do stuff, I want to stay close to what I need to do after this. So my familia, I brought it into the system. We talked about these daily practices, and I want to do a small, just kind of window of meditation for you before we bring it back into this. Okay, good. To this idea, right? This idea of how I can build my divine sovereignty and stay there. And it's that idea of objectivity and free of comparison. And jumping, or I say jumping on, right? Because I'm so old school. Like you jump on that. Such a string girl. But really making use of, in our highest sense, of the lightness, the clarity, and the space. And specifically to January. And it's going to be, these are going to be characteristics for us, at least January, February, and March. And it makes sense, right? Because that's winter into spring here on the northern hemisphere. And so that part that is also connected to trust and trusting in our ability, because we have that greater connection around us that we saw, that we started the year with that purple pink sky. So this objectivity, right, this free of comparison, which is also known as another tenor of that is free of personalization, is divine love, right? And this divine love is actually connected to ourselves. Divine love is something that is very connected to, look at this, free of conditions. And this idea of being free of conditions, I'm just making sure that I covered everything. Yeah, okay. This place of being free of conditions is loving, connected to my greater sense of self. So, to love free of conditions is to be free of expectation, is to be free of you loving me anyway. And it's connected to the sense that when I love, it is free of romantic, it is free of sexualizing, And it is really a place that is just expressing my ability to radiate this light that I know. And in ascension, which we are experiencing very rapidly, to be able to radiate my light outward and then to shine, and then that light radiating, right? I do nothing. That's what radiation means, as per Sandra Ingerman, which I'm very grateful to. Opens the space for me to see your wholeness, whatever that looks like. I can't tell you that I always see the most pleasant things. That's my job, right? It's the job that I have here on earth, to see the unpleasantries as well as the beauty in all of it. And so when I can see you for all that you are, because I'm radiating my light, meaning that I am loving, holding myself in every color that I come, then I can move into a sovereignty that is innate, and it's a birthright of mine. Then I can collect myself, and we will see. I can start to build community. I can start to build wholeness in tribes. And this idea of what we understand as families and communities and groups, grand systems are going to look very different. So I invite you to really connect with the source and this idea of divine love. So we talked about some tools, and the daily prayer and the morning breath, simple. And then I want to just bring in another tool that I enjoy that right now, right? It's the Herbal Allies. Herbal Allies are really beautiful. If you can get them, teas, much more processed, but if you can get them loose, that's awesome. But however you get them, right? Some Herbal Allies that are really nice for this time, especially when you're feeling unsettled or want to ground into this beautiful energy. Chamomile, linden, favorites, ginger, big time favorite. It's a warmer, antispasmodic, also very brightening and energetic. And cinnamon. Cinnamon is really beautiful. It's an old Caribbean. We use it a lot in the Caribbean. And I mean by that by Cuba, Puerto Rico, República Dominicana, right? The Caribbean, Latino Caribbean, and in other parts of the Caribbean, and they use it. Ayurvedic medicine is also very much used. It's warmers. Those two are warmers. And that warming experience can often bring you very close to your heart and help with that stabilizing force. So make sure to journey with your Herbal Allies and visit Spirit Medicine, because we'll talk more about Herbal Allies at one time in the future. So with that being said, before we move to our cosmic upgrades, I just want to bring forth this idea of quieting and grounding into the body, right? Because we talked about how 2019 very much already started. January 2019 is grounding in, right? So we're going to work with our body. So I want you to just close your eyes and allow yourself to connect while I get myself together here in my own body, in this clothes, human clothes. And so I want you to close your eyes and connect with the source. And I want you to start your breaths. Softly starting your breath. Yeah. Feel that breath. Bringing clarity to your mind. Really beautiful. Bringing expansion to your lungs. Now I want you to see your first thought, regardless of any chatter that's in your mind, a mountain. And I want you to, specifically to that mountain, to see all of its parts. Being free of overwhelming yourself, connected to your breath. You are the mountain. You are the grandness of the mountain. You are the mountain of the ground. Connecting with your breath, see it. See the beauty of this mountain and the expansive quality of it. And I want you to ground into your body in that way. Expanding like the mountain, for you are the mountain. feeling your feet on the ground, being the roots of that mountain, being the mountain that gets climbed, the mountain that has valleys, the mountain that has streams. You are the mountain, connecting that with every breath. This will softly bring us back in to our body. And that's a beautiful daily routine, 3 times a week when you're feeling unsettled, that you can really connect. And it can quiet you and it can ground you to the source that you are. So I want to close out that portion now in that way. I'm very grateful the way it happened. And I want us to just step in to a little bit of cosmic imprinting and upgrade. I am understanding a little bit more now. This is new to me, how this wants to come through and how I'm serving our world in this form, a little random. So this idea of cosmic imprinting and upgrading is something that seems to happen by way of an energetic release. And so what we're going to go through now is that similar idea, but we're going to go by way of a little bit more of a energetic. So the talking or sound that I will be a little bit more sounding. We're not going to use Coyote Moon, which is the drum that we are familiar with, but we're going to use a little chimes just to bring us into source and into space, and possibly a soft rattle to bring us forward, or maybe even not. What I'm hearing is a lot more of light language, and it's always very interesting for me. I don't know if we really fully understand it, but I know that it works. And that it does provide us with a beautiful upgrading. So in this part of the process, I imagine it's going to be another 20 minutes or so, a little less, depending what comes through. So get really comfortable. Allow yourself to really come into your body in a space where you have at least some time even to receive it, even if it's a short period of it. So in your stillness, connect with that softness that is your breath. And I'm going to go a little bit of Palo Santo. I've got some burning here. We did some beautiful burning before sage. I offered some Palo Santo to the altar too. And there's a beautiful candle there, if you can see. There it is. And I'll leave you with a mantra at the end, right? And we'll probably use that mantra. That'll be mostly the words that we speak at the end. Mm-hmm. I want you to get really comfortable and kind of rest into wherever you are and allow yourself to receive. I'm going to do a little bit of cosmic upgrading and imprinting to really open the source, right? Into the upper realms, into that space of divine sovereignty and expansive that we have, and to bring in that connection so that we can see that which we are to see. And that which is still being resolved, we resolve with ease. Palo Santo, I really enjoy using that for clarifying the mind. Many of us use it to cleanse. I enjoy using it to open the space. I find it very open. And so I like to take out the human glasses and connect. So allow yourself to really bring in the breath. Drink some water if you must. I must. That was delicious. And so, taking breath in and breath out. Taking breath in and breath out. Connecting with the breath. The place that is holding, that is known, that is clear. Connecting with the breath. Taking a connection now with sound. Calling to the spirits and the guardians of the 7 directions, the spirits and the guardians of all that we are. Connected with our breath, we call to you, blessed ones of the east, of clarity, clarity in our minds, freeing us from any chatter. Calling to the space of beings in the south, the place of the fire in our soul, fire in our spirit, the fire of our passion, of our desire, of our divinity. Calling to the space of the west, the waters of our soul, the waters that are spewing forth, that are asking to be cleared, to be understood, to be transformed, to be in fluidity and live. Calling to the space of the earth, Gaia, that which knows, earth medicines that show us the expansiveness of the quality that we are. Calling to you for form. Calling to the space of below, the grounded ones, the ancient ones, the ones that have come before, the ones who we do not see, but guide us, heavenly soul, in the blessed ways of below, showing us the darkness and the shadows, inviting us to bring our light, the light is ever bright, into the spaces. Calling to the divinity, the high light, the infinite space of our spirit, of all knowing, grandness, of remembering, of eternal, ancient ways, the place that is pure light. We call to you, crystalline beings, light ones, rainbow DNA, calling to the space of within, the place of all and nothing, the place we often run from, the place we all come from that we return to, the space of birth, life, death, rebirth. Calling to the beings, the great abyss, great spirit, creatrix, that whichever name goes by, all that is, we call to you. Sovereignty, unique, known, collective, one heart, grown, blessed be, and that in the calling to staying connected with your breath. Bringing forth the high light, divine lights. Remembering, I am pure divinity. I release all that is old and wasteful. I am pure divinity. I release all that is old and wasteful. I am pure divinity. I release all that is old and wasteful. Mansarai ton ton paraita kum suro tai tarai tai turum tarai tai shum tarai tai turum tai shuru to tan gon chun tai rai tum po tai te po sai rai turo sho to sho tsu to sho tai su tsu chai chu chu sun suru tum po chu 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 suru tu tum tai tai tan turum te dai nin tero tai tu tu shum po tai tai ko to sho to tum po tarai tai su Sunun say to go to shoot to do, shoot to tie to gun, shoot to Asin to go satatan to Anterum turum parata toton to telimbrai. Tumpa shutoko shutoto. Ansun to go shuto, shunto to shututunka santo. Sansutu chuchitin taikas to Asukon to consunta night to dum the night at all. Shuntata, shutu, shutu. Shunka satakan to go to do. Shuku, shuku, shuku. Anthony gonto, shuntai kun to choco, sign to chin tapachato, shuk sutu, sutukuto, shuk, shukumalay lumbria, ay lumbria, ay lumbria, anchi the gonto cotogon, tai conto choco, toco, chutunko, short tai cototoko, anchitonko, chutatum, patatai, chutum. Anchitonko, toko, chito, shumpatonko, chinday, chutato, pacho, shoot. Anticoto, chinto, shun, today, chut, sekata. Anticoto, shun, the joko, potato, chuku, chukutuku, shukutuku. Antana, shuntara, shutsarai, so, shuku, shuku. Anthony Tune, Soricho, Anthony Tune, Sunserete, Anthony Tune Tune by Tutu, Anthony Tune Tune, Chicken Bottom, take it out to 2 minutes, Jadero to cheat it. Unai conjoy, unai conjoy, unai conjoyane, unai conjoyane, unai conjoyane, unai conjoyane. Oshendo dai shutto, his second shitoko, Ansai konto, aseko shuko, hai, shu, 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 shu. Breathing back into your body, de vuelta a tu cuerpo, sagrada divinidad a través the breath, the breath that knows, la respiración, el aire que es el ser, coming back into breath, coming full form, thanking you for your presence, your all divinity, your all knowing, bringing in and incarnating the wisdom of the divine, of the spirits and the grants that show us the place of all that you are, of all that we are, is that one heart. We call to you, we give you great thanks. Asunko shatai kumpatarai tunko shatako, pachatanko shatanko chutinti patutu, and sanko shatarai tumpachata, shantakatanko shatako, chumbo buchitu. Shum patekon patanko shuta shata, shum sarai suku, sealing in and bringing in forth that which is the cosmic upgrade of all that you are, of the knowing of your divine star, of your pure divinity, of the light source in your deep knowing, and the grounding into it, calling in the pure light that comes forth. Thanking you for your willingness to open up into that soul gift that you have come, and into the spirit consciousness that you are, that you bring forth, that is in resounding wisdom of the ancient knowing. Thank you to the cosmic forces of your within, of your being, of your divinity that has come forth to radiate its truth in all that it knows. We are ever grateful to you, for you are bringing forth the wisdom, the magic, the knowing. Thank you for being here at this time, for opening to your divine. Bringing back in the form of all you are back in. Bringing in your breath, connecting with your body, your ground. Allowing yourself to feel the spaces in your body flowing and knowing, connecting with that feeling, connecting with the wisdom of the incarnates of your divine holiness, wholeness, completion. One second. Resounding wisdom, we call to you, we give you great thanks. We give you great thanks to all that is the divine wisdom of within. It's the place of deep knowing. The one heart that we shine through the unique sovereignty that is yours, that belongs to innate birthright of the human and the human race as one, of all that is knowing. Thank you, blessed ones of within. Calling to the blessed place of above, the shining crystalline light that guides us, that shows us, that brings in the knowing that is in us, that divine spirit, the holiness. We're ever grateful to you for bringing forth the cosmic upgrades and the knowing of the crystalline light that lives within and shines us forward in the eternal wisdom of our spirit. Giving great thanks to those below who keep us grounded in those places of our shadow, the places that invite us to bring our cosmic knowing of that light that forever shines to the belows, to the place of the Mother Earth Center, to the place that keeps us grounded here, like that place of the mountain, to the ancestors who we do not see, but that guide us through the realms, into our shadow, transforming it into love, with all that it fully is. Ever grateful to the place of the earth. Blessed, blessed earth, earth medicines that show us the way, the earth medicines that we are, that we carry, the imprints of the plants, the imprints of the animals. We are the identical, the knowing of the species that can carry them all. We are in that form. We are ever grateful to you for guiding us into our being and into our holiness and into this divine time of our bodies, knowing the body, that place we all connect to. We often are learning the temple of its wisdom. We're ever grateful to you. We give great thanks to the place of the soul waters, the waters that we dive into, the waters that are cleansed, that are cleansed, that are moving forth into their highest vibration, the waters that will carry the source. We are ever grateful to you, illuminating ways of divinity, of grace, that show us that our souls can be in full evolution and ascension of this time. We are ever grateful to you, divine ones of fire. Fire, knowing the fire of our spirit, that infinite light of passion and desire that brings a human form into knowing, that uses human form into organic logic, that allows it to transform and that brings us into the honoring of fire and its wisdom to burn so that it can remodel, so that it can regenerate, so that it can transmute. We are honored to the transmuting qualities of fire and for bringing it form into this moment and to show us that that which we are allowing to release, for that which is old and wasteful, has no space here. We are ever grateful to you. We are ever grateful to the ways, the resounding quiet of our minds that comes through air, the reverberating and the knowing that comes in the wings of spirit, of the winged ones that bring the messages, and the beautiful clarity that comes by your breath. We are grateful to you, beings of that bring forth this idea and this knowing of us and our divine wisdom, bringing in our bodies into our breath, releasing, grounded into the wisdom of ourselves, releasing. We put our little agüita florida in the ethers to bring forth this divinity in a way that is grounded, in a way that is known and is remembered. We have brought it in so that you can recognize that. We thank you in your holiness, in your truest form, and may you remember the sovereign divinity that is in this time. And may the next week and these upgrades that we did today really support you in your full needs. In this time, go to your practices, do your rituals, connect with your allies, connect with the spirit that you are, and that which is external, which is just a reflection for you to see yourself in the beauty in yourself. It is always a deep honor and a deep reverence to be here and to be graced by your presence and the beings that are so holy and always invite us to know our holiness. I'm going to put on my human eyes so I can see the computer. I invite you to watch again. I believe at the end of this month, we're going to do a live broadcast on sacred medicines. And that's a real special one to my heart because I work with a lot of earth medicines that are very sacred and ritualistic. And I'm excited about that one. So let's see how that one wants to go through. That'll be at the end of this month. I invite you that if you're interested in any of Amazonian traditional medicines, please contact Spirit Medicine Ways. And we can talk about that in a very real, tangible, and loving form. And really understanding the process of what we are and the holiness, right? So if you're interested in that, please contact us. We have a lot of information on Spirit Medicine Ways. I think, you know me, I think we have information. And thank you so much, Kurt, and thank you so much, Dylan, for your love. I'm so happy you were here to experience that. And to all of you, Alan, thank you for joining. And blessed hermanas, Sharon and Arelis, Patani, I love you all so deeply. Also, remember to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, here right now, and YouTube. Subscribe. If we get up to 100 subscribers on YouTube, this is going to be uploaded to YouTube. If we get 100 subscribers on YouTube, then we get to have Spirit Medicine We's URL. I'm excited about that because it seems like we're doing something with our spirits and the medicine that it carries. So I love you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share that and to be a conduit for this medicine to come through. There she is. That's the human in me that gets kind of caught up, right? But I'm very grateful that human has served me well. And it's quite the vehicle for me. So I guess I'll see y'all next time. Again, check us out. We'll have a live video. The next one that we're streaming will be on sacred medicines. And we'll put out alerts on that and all that good stuff. But until then, may you really connect with this sovereign divinity that you are and share the good word. Share us and expand us and let's grow like the blessed beings that we are at this time. Aho mataki o yasin, umateo, which means I see the divinity in you because I could see it in me. And ohan, aho, a woman, amen. So it is. I love you. Wait, I like to, before I say goodbye, but I like to like and love y'all before I go. I'm trying to do it better. Like I didn't leave it. I said my goodbye, but I like, why can't I do that? There we go. Then I'm trying to love your comment, but I can't. Oh, bueno, look, hold on a second here. Hey, there we go. Anyway, now I'm really saying goodbye. Bendiciones. See you soon.